What separates a man who just dreams from one who actually achieves greatness? In today's video, we're going to be looking at a crucial element every man needs on his journey towards self improvement: the power of honest feedback and accountability. In a world where traditional manhood is often misunderstood and undervalued, it's important to redefine what it means to be a high value man on our own terms. When I think of a high value man, I don't necessarily think of somebody who's checked a lot of boxes or has a certain amount of money or a certain position of status or authority. I think of somebody who has a clear sense of direction and has the tools and capacity to lead their lives in that direction. They have clear boundaries and clear ideas on how they want to show up. They understand the values that they hold and actively work to bring their actions in deeper alignment with what they say they believe. This is obviously an ongoing practice, and it's a journey of bringing these pieces closer into alignment with one another. But a high value man is somebody who strives day in and day out to bring what we think, say, and do into deeper alignment and to become more integral and whole as an individual and as a leader within my family and within my society. A man who is a high value man is also somebody who's safe. They're able to have a pulse on what they're feeling internally and be able to name that and express it, while also being able to control that and navigate that with a sense of rootedness and calm, and able to regulate their nervous system through the storm of life. I want to emphasize that becoming a high value man is a journey, not a destination. We are all flawed and fallible humans, and I'll be the first to admit that I fall short of my standards all the time. And I need to continue to bring myself closer into alignment with where I'm trying to go and who I say I want to be. And when I fall short of that, to do my best to clean my shit up. Whenever I'm making a mess in life, to come back and to address it head on and move forward with more clarity and more confidence. The challenge is we're often blinded by our limiting perspective. Engaging in bold, honest conversations with men about the challenges we're facing in our lives and the direction we're trying to go offers a depth of clarity that we can't receive from self-reflection alone. The way we can give and receive feedback from other men tends to be able to cut through the noise. We're not so caught up in attention and approval-seeking behavior that we can when we interact with women. And although generally women provide what seems like a much safer space to be able to express what's alive in us, I've been a man who always only felt comfortable sharing with women. But as I started opening up to men, I realized that the directness and the boldness and the honesty that I could get and receive from a man had a different quality to it, a different texture. When a man directly provided some feedback that hit close to home, it didn't spike my nervous system response the same way that it might have if it was from a woman. Without the baggage of seeking attention or approval, the feedback that we can get from men can often be clearer, more direct, and more effective. And that's not to say seeking feedback and accountability from women has no place. That's not it at all. The conversations I've had with women have been incredibly profound and continue to transform my understanding of myself and my place in the world. That said, it is not a replacement for the direct feedback and accountability that we can receive from men we trust and value in our lives. Jocko Willink, who is a retired Navy SEAL officer, an author and motivational speaker, exemplifies this really well because he talks so much about radical self-responsibility, extreme ownership, and discipline. And he said that the feedback and accountability that he received during his time in the Navy SEALs sharpened his edge and brought him to where he's at today. Jocko credits his honest, no-nonsense feedback that he's received from fellow SEALs and mentors for his growth, both as a man and as a leader. In more recent decades, we've trended towards becoming softer. And even the term accountability can have some negative baggage around it these days. And a lot of people don't like the idea of being held accountable. And I want to offer a framework here that has really helped me in the way that I view accountability and the way that I offer accountability to others. And that's this distinction between calling in and calling out. The idea of calling out, which is pervasive in social media these days and prominent in cancel culture, is this idea of calling somebody out when they don't fall in line with the behaviors that we would expect, or if they say they have a certain standard and don't meet that, then we call them out for that poor behavior. And it often involves shame and trying to stimulate guilt or ostracization, or, in the larger contexts, that can be the cancellation or this total ostracization from their ability to even participate in society. The more we use calling somebody out as a strategy to influence behavior change, the more we are actually going to increase shame and amplify these negative unconscious patterns that we're actually looking to change. If there's something that I don't like in an individual, shaming them for that thing is not going to stop the behavior, or canceling what they say or what they do and pushing them into the underground or removing them from aspects of participating in society is not going to change the behavior. If I really want to bring out the best in somebody, I need to call them in. And what that means for me is recognizing and actually listening to what this person says that they want to embody in their lives. What are the values that they hold? Who do they want to become? What direction do they say they are wanting to move their lives in? And based on that, if I see that a man is not leading his life effectively, I can ask if he's open to feedback. And if he is, I can be direct and say, hey, brother, I know that you say you're valuing honesty and you value being committed to living in a life that's in alignment with where you're trying to go. And your actions right now aren't in alignment with that. And I want to invite you to come back into who you are, who I know you can be, and who you say you want to become. This is critical for inviting a man into his highest potential, because I truly believe that the stories that we hold about another individual is an invitation for them to step into. So if I believe that a man is hateful and full of spite and just a terrible individual, then I'm providing that invitation for them to step into. But if I believe they are competent and capable and strive to actually make a positive impact in the world, then I can hold that story for them. And I can be the mirror that reflects that vision back to them, even when they don't see that themselves. As we lean into honest feedback and accountability, we can create a positive feedback loop, or a kind of synergistic effect. These two elements can work hand in hand, where feedback will help guide you and offer you clarity about where you're at and where you're going. And accountability helps ensure that you take the actions that you need to lead yourself there. There's a saying in the world of men's work, iron sharpens iron. And I really think this boils down to the level of bold, honest, radical feedback and accountability that we can receive as we start to lean into this space. As I start to share my challenges, share my goals, share my wildest dreams that I'm afraid to even voice. Have that be received, heard, mirrored back, and a standard that's held for me and how I show up in the world. This is going to unlock potential that I didn't even imagine possible. If any of this resonates, I invite you to take the first step today. Reach out to a mentor, join a men's group, find an accountability partner, start building your network, and take charge of your growth. Remember, becoming a high-value man is not a destination, it's a journey. And every time that you lean into bold, honest feedback and hold yourself accountable, you're not just growing, you're transforming into the man that you were always meant to be. I'd love to hear from you. What's your relationship like with feedback and accountability from men? And what support systems do you have in your life that help provide that source of direct, bold feedback and accountability? Let me know down in the comments below. If you found value in this video, please share it with another man that you think will benefit from hearing this. And thanks again for tuning in. I'm Stu Murray signing off, and we'll see you next week.